Hey everyone, I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Phil.
And I'm the best Virginian.
Best Virginian's joining us this week for our story. Um, you guys keep asking me over and over, when's he coming back? When's he coming back? I don't know. Everybody just loves it when we do crossover type stuff with Best Virginian. So I figured, why not invite him along? Um, so this week we have a story that was sent to us by a fan who saw the video that I did on my own at the Randolph House in Pulaski, Virginia. If you're unfamiliar with the location, it's an old abandoned hospital. I think it was abandoned in the early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken, and it's been sitting. It's super creepy. Everybody in Pulaski says it's haunted, and it's there's all kinds of talk about it. So this fan sent a story about an encounter that her mother had while working there in the early '90s.
All right. After seeing your video on the Randolph House, I decided to reach out about an encounter my mother had while working there in the 90s. According to her, that place is definitely haunted. My mother was the only medical technician at the hospital. She worked there for many years and saw a lot of strange stuff, but one story always stood out to me. The top floor of the facility was used as storage. My mother would often get sent up there to get something. She usually would take the elevator to go up, since it was easier to carry things back down that way. One night, she went up to get something, and when she got back on the elevator, there was a woman on it. At the time, it didn't occur to her that she would have had to have seen the woman get on the elevator since it never left the top floor. The woman would have had to have been in the room she just stepped off into. They went back down to the first floor. The lady never said anything. My mother told her to have a good night and got off the elevator. She started to walk around the corner, and that's when it hit her. There was no way the lady could have gotten on the elevator. My mother then turned back around and walked back to the elevator. The elevator was empty. She looked around and didn't see the lady. There was nowhere she could have walked off to without going by my mother, since it was a straight hall. My mother then asked some of the other staff that were on the floor working at the desk if they saw the woman get off the elevator. That's when they told her that people had been seeing that woman on the elevator for many years. People don't know if she's someone who worked there, a patient, or what. My mother never thought the spirit was evil or anything, but I think what happened has always spooked her.
Well, thank you, Catherine, for sending us that amazing story from your mother.
Yeah,
Um, what'd you guys think of it?
that's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, would that be like technically a woman in white? Or no,
I
not
think that
necessarily.
what I've always heard about that place is there is a woman. Yeah, there's kind of a woman in white. She's dressed up like a nurse, and
Okay.
people report seeing her. They see her in the windows a lot. Um,
Hmm.
there's a connecting bridge. I don't know if you've seen that video, Phil. You may
I think
have.
so.
There's a connecting bridge, blue connecting bridge between the two buildings, and people say they see her in there a lot.
Hmm.
I thought the place was really creepy, the being there, but it felt like I was being watched the whole time there. But the biggest thing I was worried about were homeless people. Like all the doors were wide open in the
Oh,
back.
gotcha.
Yeah,
So potentially some ghosts, potentially some homeless people, depending
yeah,
on the
yep, yep, yep,
depending on
yep,
the day.
yep. What do you think, Best Virginian?
That is definitely an interesting story. I used to be roommates with a night shift ER nurse, and she had some stories where people would report like children running up and down the halls and stuff at like 2, 3 in the morning. And like ghost staff members like this one. It was a fairly large, fairly old veterans hospital here in North Virginia. And a lot of hospitals definitely have stories similar to this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, reminds me a little bit of that. You guys remember that story Julie told about St. Albans with the person walking behind her daughter at the haunted house?
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me a little bit of that, just like disappearing or like appearing and
Mhm.
disappearing in a straight hallway.
Mm-hmm. Or the one that I guess by now the fans would have gotten that story the week before the woman in white that I saw during the 2020 lockdown.
Yeah,
And that was at a park. I mean, it's not at a hospital, but it was at a park. She just kind of vanished.
yeah.
So yeah, that kind of reminds me of that too.
Well, it's a cool story either way, and thank you, Catherine, for sending it along.
Yeah, what I think I'd like to do is if we can somehow get the attention of the people that own the place, is get a video of the inside. Maybe if you guys can help spread this video around, the current owner will see it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Get another spooky sightseeing thing going.
Yeah, of the inside. Yep.
Awesome. Well, do you want to take us home, Jimmy?
All right, so again, thank you for the story, Catherine. And then remember, if you have a creepy story that you would like to see featured on here, you can email us at webmaster@spookyappalachia.com. Big thank you to our Patreons, Alvin, Charles, Danielle, Donald, Jamie, Jeff, Jordan, Julia, Linda, Shannon, and Taylor. Oh, and thank you all for listening.
And thank you to the Best Virginia for joining us today. Blessed having you
Yeah.
on as always, man.
Yeah,
Yep,
definitely
glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And go check out his channel. He's the Best Virginian. Definitely worth checking out for some great West Virginia history and travel videos. And also, he does some spooky stuff like us.
Yeah. We'll link it in the I think it's linked in our friends of the channel thing
I think
on the
so.
channel. But if not, we will also link it in the
description.
the description for this one. All right, cool. Well, take care, everyone.